Why is it that these women have such a positive experience of menopause, but so many modern Western women do not? You might think the women I'm about to discuss just got lucky with their genetics, but whilst that might be a factor, I think the key is in their lifestyle. The women in question are part of the Hadza in Tanzania, one of the last accessible hunter-gatherer tribes, and so a group often studied for insight into humans living in a more primitive and natural state. All the information regarding the Hadza women I mention is from this dissertation that I came across. The data has often been gathered using interviews from a small number of women, but I think there is plenty to glean. When I hear women who are experiencing debilitating menopause symptoms that leaves them feeling they have no other choice than to take HRT, I struggle with the fact that a large proportion of society seems to act as if that is physiologically normal. In my mind, there must be lifestyle or environmental factors that are causing that degree of problem during menopause. In contrast to that, all the post-menopausal Hadza women questioned felt happy about menopause. None of them had hot flushes or menstrual irregularities, but it's their overall positive impression of menopause that is most interesting to me, with a seemingly smooth transition into that phase of life. Postmenopausal Hadza women are very active and have increased productivity when it comes to foraging. They rest less and gather significantly more than pre-menopausal Hadza women and are a major provider for their weaned grandchildren. In light of this, the study discusses the interesting idea of the grandmother hypothesis. Why is it that female humans have an extended lifespan after their fertility ends? Well, maybe it's because their increased productivity, in terms of foraging, provides a key component of their grandchildren's nutrition, as is seen in the Hadza, and this helps ensure the survival of their genetic line. To put it another way, grandmothers are supposed to be intimately involved in provisioning for their grandchildren. So why are these women thriving during and after menopause? There are many potential factors, but these are some aspects of their lifestyle and environment which stick out to me. Firstly, it's worth considering that these women live a much more physiologically normal lifestyle in terms of women's health in the years before they go through menopause. They do not start periods young, but rather at the age of around 16. They get pregnant early in reproductive life, such as at 18 or 19. They may space out 6 children in their reproductive years, and they breastfeed each child for 2 to 3 years. In my opinion, that is a much more physiologically normal life than many women experience in the modern world. It's also my opinion that that will have a positive impact on menopause. These factors are known to have a positive impact on other aspects of women's health, such as in reducing the risk of breast cancer, which they do in part by regulating hormones, including estrogen. I think it's a real pity that modern society, including, ironically, parts of feminism, has made it harder for women to choose this more physiologically appropriate lifestyle. Secondly, the Hadza have all the basics sorted. They are very active, have optimal body weight, consume a high fibre diet without overly processed foods or alcohol, and have no artificial light exposure in the evening, messing up their circadian rhythms. This means hormones like melatonin and insulin are optimized, which becomes even more important after menopause and can have a major impact on perimenopausal symptoms experienced. Many people vastly underestimate the amount of physical activity they need each day. I've done a video on that, which is linked below, along with ones on sleep and nutrition. Another key factor that can have a huge impact on how women experience menopause is stress. Elevated levels of cortisol can suppress the production of sex hormones, which at a time when they're decreasing anyway is not a good idea. What this means is that stress tolerance can go down significantly at around the time of menopause, giving rise to mental health symptoms. Is that truly menopause causing those symptoms, or is it that the fluctuating levels of hormones at perimenopause and the lower levels during menopause simply reduce stress resilience? That would mean the consequences of dealing with the stresses of the modern world become more apparent and so are more likely to cause symptoms, something that the Hadza women avoid. Either way, working on stress is key, and this may involve taking into account reduced stress tolerance. The stresses you thought you could handle before menopause may not be a good idea to continue battling with in this time of life. And finally, the Hadza are not exposed to the endocrine disrupting chemicals of the modern world. These chemicals can interfere with the body's hormone systems and are generally toxic to humans, so it's key to avoid them at all stages of life, but for some women they may be a particular problem at around the time of menopause. They permeate our modern environments, including our houses, food, cookware, and notably personal care products, cosmetics, and perfume. I've done a full video guide on how to limit your exposure, link is down below. This is obviously a brief video on a very complicated topic, but I did want to highlight that study, which I found very interesting and has lots of other interesting material on other aspects of women's health. I also wanted to challenge the idea that the physiological experience of many women in the West is necessarily normal. But do let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.